Well, and I think in this world where we're more divided than ever before, my hope is that offering that liminality as a third way, and also, holding that duality as something that might be a balm to people who feel like misfits.
Yeah.
Who aren't categorizable.
Categorizable. I think that's a word.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's make it one.
John said about you, quote, "She's able to transform darkness, alchemize darkness, and transmutate darkness into light."
Mm.
What does that mean to you?
I think we often think of healing as ridding ourselves of the pain that plagues us, whatever that pain might be. And I have tried to do that in every number of ways, from numbing it to compartmentalizing it to dodging it to stowing it as far down as I can. But the only way that I've been able to endure these various things that have happened is by engaging with that pain and looking it directly in the eye, observing it the way you might through the lens of a kaleidoscope where you shift the prism and the light falls in a different way. I'm working on a couple different projects. I'm working on 2 books, one called The Book of Prompts, which is about the alchemical properties of journaling, and the other that I'm calling Drowning Practice, about, this year of recurrence and really figuring out how to surrender and float. And it's 12 of the paintings I made, paired with 12 essays. And, nothing about these books feel intuitive to me. Books, as you know, take a long time to write. But again, I think, the temptation for me is to stay glued to the present. The future feels like a scary place for me right now. But I guess these projects are my way of forcing myself to think ahead and to make commitments to the future.
Does that feel uncomfortable to you to make future commitments?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It feels like a very, tenuous act of planting a flag and hoping to God that you'll get there.
But hope is a courageous act, more so for you than the average person.
Yeah. Hope feels like a dangerous and risky act sometimes.
But what is the alternative?
Exactly.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all the things that you've done and accomplished and suffered through and high highs, low lows, you mentioned, we took a break, that you still feel like this imposter, that you do have an imposter syndrome, which is surprising to me as somebody who said we're going to change the world to John as a young person.
In some ways, I love my imposter syndrome. It's the thing that fuels me to work harder at my craft, to push myself. But I also think it comes from a lifelong experience of feeling like a misfit on the outside of things. I've never quite fit, and I've come to embrace that and to love that, even though it feels a little uncomfortable in certain situations. And I'm, someone who feels a huge amount of fear. I feel a huge amount of fear before I do anything, and then I do it anyway.
By do anything, you mean embark on a creative project or anything in general? Because you've met fear in places most people never venture. So my instinct would be that tackling a creative project is not scary because you know real fear.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, who've been in the belly of the beast, I feel most at ease when the stakes are life or death. I know how to navigate that. It's the everyday part of life that is scarier to me.